Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we get straight to the insights you need. And just a quick note, we're really happy to be hosted by Mangrove Marketing Insight, that's MMI. So today, we're diving deep, really deep, into brand storytelling. And our guide, one of the biggest names out there, Nike.
That's right. We're drawing from some really insightful excerpts today. They're from a piece by Mangrove Studio called What Marketers Can Learn from Nike Brand.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's packed with great stuff on how they built such a cultural force.
Exactly. So our mission here isn't just, talking about Nike. It's really digging into how they do it, how they sell emotions, values, inspiration instead of just stuff. Right. And crucially, what you can take away from their playbook for your own approach to marketing, it's all about finding that core, that heart of what makes marketing truly powerful. Okay, so let's get into it. Nike's mastery of emotional storytelling. It's legendary, right? They don't just push shoes. They weave these narratives, ambition, resilience, the human spirit. It feels like they understand that people buy feelings, not just products.
Oh, absolutely. That's the core idea, isn't it? This fundamental understanding. People don't just buy products. The source says it clearly. They buy emotions, values, and inspiration. That's where the real connection, that deep bond, happens.
So let's unpack that first strategy. Focus on human emotion, not products. It's kind of striking how their biggest campaigns, they rarely ever talk about, like shoe tech. Instead, it's all about the struggle, the dream, the win, personal stuff. That's how they connect so deeply, right? On that emotional level.
Exactly. I mean, think about Just Do It. Launched way back in '88. It wasn't about air soles. It was a challenge, wasn't it? To break through your own doubts. It tapped into something universal about just going for it, unleashing potential.
Yeah, that one's iconic.
And then jump to, say, 2020. You can't stop us. Right in the middle of everything, they talked about unity, resilience, not just in sports, but, globally. It showed how they adapt that emotional core to the moment, staying relevant.
Okay, but why this focusing on those big human emotions works so well? Even for people like me, who aren't exactly elite athletes.
Well, because those themes, ambition, struggle, getting back up again, they're universal.
Yeah.
Everyone gets that. Everyone feels that sometime, whether you're running a marathon or just trying to get through a tough week. So Nike kind of invites you into that story, makes you feel part of it. The shoe, the gear. It becomes a symbol of that drive, that aspiration you connect with. It's less about the product doing the thing and more about it representing the spirit of doing it. That makes it relatable.
That makes sense. It broadens the appeal massively. Which brings us nicely to the second strategy, something you touched on, use of real people and authentic stories. They feature everyday athletes, diverse voices, people overcoming incredible odds. It's not just the superstars. How do they make that feel authentic, though, especially for such a huge global brand? That seems tricky.
It is tricky, and it's crucial. Sharing those authentic journeys, especially from, let's say, underrepresented groups, it builds trust. When you see someone who looks like you or faces challenges you recognize, achieving something, it resonates. Nike basically says, look, greatness isn't just for the pros, it's in everyone. It makes the idea of potential feel achievable, more democratic. Now, the risk, of course, is always there. If it feels fake or like they're just ticking a box, people see through that. But Nike often backs it up with, actual commitments and actions, which helps maintain that authenticity, mostly.
Right. That follow-through matters. Okay, and then the third piece, powerful visuals and messaging. Their ads. Wow. Often very few words, maybe none. But the images are so strong. You see the sweat, the effort, the absolute joy or relief of triumph. It's dramatic. And the slogans, short, punchy, unforgettable, find your greatness, dream, crazier. They just stick.
Yeah. And notice how inspiration always comes first, product second. Always. That economy, minimal words, powerful visuals, it cuts through the noise. It hits you directly, emotionally. They're not just showing you something, they're making you feel something. Possibility, aspiration. It's almost like visual poetry sometimes. And that contributes to that premium aspirational feel of the brand.
Okay, so pulling these threads together, emotion, real stories, powerful visuals. Why does this whole package work so incredibly well for Nike? Why the fierce loyalty?
Well, first, that emotional connection lasts. You remember how a brand made you feel long after you forget the specific product details? That builds loyalty that's hard to break.
True. Feelings stick.
And more than that, it creates a kind of shared identity. Nike storytelling makes you feel like you're part of something bigger. A movement, almost. Based on courage, resilience, pushing your limits. You buy into that idea. So you're not just a customer anymore. You're part of the tribe. That's why they're not just selling shoes. They're selling motivation, self-belief, possibility. It's anchored in identity.
Which makes the brand incredibly resilient, I imagine.
Exactly. Much more than just price or features could.
So let's bring it back to the listener. What does all this Nike deep dive mean for you? Whether you're building a brand, selling something, or just trying to communicate better. These ideas aren't just for giants like Nike, right?
Not at all. The core insight from the source is key for everyone. People don't just buy products. They buy feelings, dreams, and identities. And I'd add, they buy into stories that help them become who they want to be. Your message can be part of that journey for them.
Yeah, so the big takeaway, maybe. If you want your marketing to really connect, to have real impact, remember that line from the article, but maybe with our spin. Tell stories that move people and they'll move with you. But maybe it's not just moving them emotionally. It's about crafting stories that inspire them to move towards something, a shared goal, a better version of themselves. We hope this gave you some food for thought, and maybe next time you see an ad or think about your own goals, just pause for a second. What stories have truly moved you? And what does that tell you about the power of real connection? And maybe, just maybe, how the stories we consume subtly shape who we think we are and who we might become. Definitely something worth mulling over.